Hi everyone, it's me, Tyron. I am here to answer the questions for the Module 1 content discussion for Module number 1, the first week's readings. How does the first chapter discuss culture? The first chapter discussed culture as a system that is basically, there was a first example where they gave numbers. I didn't really completely understand what they were meaning by the numbers, but I understand the basic concept of culture being systems, because everything in cultures is a system. Let me go back up here. I wrote something down. It started on the beginning of page 4 where they start to describe culture as a system. It didn't quite make sense what the author was saying when they were giving examples of systems that worked in cultures, because they gave a couple different systems, like an immune system and the numbers. More towards the end of page 8 and 9, it started to make more sense once I was able to collect everything on how culture is a shared system between cultures. Basically, every culture kind of works together to be cultures, because it takes multiple cultures to become different cultures, if that makes sense, because everybody has to be different for there to be multiple cultures. Then for question number 2, how does the text discuss communication? For the communication side, they gave a example of an Indian, or of a lady that went to India. No, I have it in my notes right here. Okay, so it was an Indian lady. Basically, the communication was different between her and her friend that were in India. Basically, she had a eye injury and she went to the doctor. They said it was nothing bad, and she saw her friend as the doctor with the eyes who was able to help her and chose not to. That's how she took that, because communication is kind of different in different cultures. So when she took it that way, she thought her friend was just being rude, but really the friend was there because she has a oath in her medical field not to just give out prescriptions to people when it's not her general area of expertise. So basically, different cultures have different forms of communication, different kind of perceptions of things. Basically, same with the lady on the bus who, when she asked the lady on the bus super nicely if she could scoot over so she could sit next to her, and they told her that that's not how it works there. That's not what people do. You would have just been, move over, is what you would have said. For number 3, what are the challenges of intercultural communication discussed in chapter 1? I think if I piggyback onto what I said earlier about the bus and the lady in India, those not being able to completely understand everything because you're new to a culture, because you don't completely understand the culture, would be what is a challenge, because you can't walk into a new culture and just completely understand how everything works. What can be rude, what can be offensive, you just don't know. And then there's the obvious language barrier that a lot of times would be the main hiccup on some of this. And the benefits would be experiencing cultures and learning about different cultures, being able to still understand, and then becoming someone who is able to be dependent on multiple cultures. Someone who can be a functioning individual in multiple different societies. What questions do you have that were not discussed in the chapters, or in the chapter? I would say I had one question. I think I had one question of clarification. One question of clarification that I had. Lay down. that would be going back to the systems. I understand how everything works as a system now. The further reading, it all kind of made sense. Another thing, questions, I believe, how long would it take, to completely understand different cultures, to be able to function without offending people, or not being offended because they're different? I guess that was a question. I guess it's probably different for everybody, but it would be kind of an idea of the timeline it normally takes to adjust. What were there things that you thought the author got wrong? I don't think there's anything I thought the author got wrong. I think there's things that are more of an opinion based, not necessarily wrong, because I don't believe this is like a factual based book. It's kind of an opinion, but it's also an opinion that's been legitified. Thank you.